You are listening to the CoCo Blend Podcast. Our podcast aims to shatter the misconception that Black parents cannot co-parent without drama. A podcast for moms of faith who are tired of unnecessary conflicts, seeking a positive shift, and eager to embrace harmonious co-parenting in their blended family. In other words, moms who just want to co-parent without the drama. I am your host, Jamie Newton-Knight, motherhood mastery mentor and co-parenting coach. Join us as we navigate through insightful conversations and empowering stories, redefining the norms and celebrating the strength of united co-parenting in the Black community. So turn on that GPS and let's navigate the blend. Hello, and welcome back to the CoCo Blend Podcast. I am your host, Jamie Newton-Knight, and today I have a special guest with me, Miss Natasha Jones.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being here. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So I'm
Good.
going to let you introduce yourself. Tell us where you're from, who you are, how many kids, are you married, are you single? What's going on?
Okay, so like you said, my name is Natasha Jones. I am 37. I'm not scared to share my age. So I'm a military brat. I was born in Germany. Both of my parents was in the military, but I was more so raised in Chester, PA, Delaware. So, I mean, just wherever you want to put me, I guess that's where I'm from. I am a wife. I am a mother. I have three bio kids, and then I have two bonus children. And as far as what I do a multiple things. I'm like a serial entrepreneur. So I am a hairstylist. I've been a hairstylist for over 20 years. I also am a cosmetology instructor. I am now the influencer. So I've been really getting into my influencing bag, content bag, really. And that's really about it. I don't think moms, our whole dynamic even it's a list full of things. So that's what I do.
I love that. You're like, I'm all the things. I wear many
Yes.
hats.
Yes, many heads, but I find
You know how
balance. That's
moms
what's
do.
important. Yes.
Sometimes today you are a tutor, a nurse.
That's why I said the list goes on and on. So it's like when I'm naming like three things, I'm just like, that's not enough. You do way more than that. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's what
Yes,
makes up Tasha.
I hear that. I love it. So share with us a little bit about your blended family.
Okay, so my husband, he had two kids prior to me. I had two kids prior. And then we had that one little girl together. I call her our glue. Yes, that 7-year-old, that youngest. I call her our glue baby. I feel like she's the one who took both sides and glued us all together. Yeah, that's pretty much like our dynamic. He had a boy and a girl. I had two boys, Marlo and Makai, and then again we had Bray together.
I love it. You said she's the glue
Yes, I
that
I
pulls
really
everybody
believe that.
together.
Yes, she glued us all together. She really did.
That's so beautiful. So, did you guys have any challenges or struggles? You know, all blended families, we have our thing at the beginning. Mine was communication
Uh-huh.
and being able to set boundaries. I had a hard time setting boundaries with my
Okay.
ex. What was your
Okay.
biggest challenge?
Okay, so say boundaries was one only because I came from a domestic violence relationship with my two sons' father. It wasn't necessarily the the boundary thing. It was just making sure that now that my husband is here stepping up, and when their dad wanted to drop in when he wanted to, it was making sure that my husband didn't feel like he was being put to the back burner, because he now is the one who, since we started talking, stepped up and just completely took them in. and waking up to them in the morning, going to sleep at night, school, picking them up, doing all of the fatherly things. And then when homeboy decides he wants to drop in, at that point I was just like, I don't want to just completely block him out because he's still their father. So it was also finding that boundary. So that was one thing. Another thing was just understanding the two different parenting dynamics of my husband and then of mine. Actually, see, I'm a little old school. So when it comes to my children being in the presence of any adults, I recommend nothing but respect and being polite towards the adult. And if I'm not around as the adult who loves my child, I expect you to, discipline. And sometimes you gotta watch what you say, because I'm like, yeah, if I'm not around, that's all you. But then when you actually see it, that it's a little hard to see somebody disciplining your child, but it's coming from a good place. That's something that you have to just keep in mind. It's coming from a good place, and it's coming from a man's standpoint. It's coming from a standpoint of things that I can't do as a mother. So being open enough to allowing that, and also understanding that it comes with love. It's not just discipline. All children need discipline. It's in the Bible. So it's just like being okay with the understanding that it's going to come from my husband end and it's going to come from mommy end. So I would say that was more of the challenge. And I would also just use this as an example just to make sure that I'm understood, because one thing I noticed is when you're talking about blended families and you're talking about somebody disciplining your children, you got to give example, because people like to take your words and twist them. But as an example, like, say if I was at work and my husband is home with Marlo and Makai, my two sons, and they do something, by the time I get home from work and now I'm trying to discipline them because he's like, wait till your mom get home. It's like, by the time I get home, they probably done forgot what they done did. It's not, it's not at the height of when they did it. So I've learned that wait till your mom get home, it wasn't as effective as, you know what, I trust you enough to take care of it before I even get home. And then when I come home, I can back you up. So learning that whole, dynamic or whatever. And that's what I mean by being okay with getting the discipline from the other parent.
Yeah, I get that. That's tough, especially just like you said, when you're a mom and then you step into a situation where you have a man who actually stepping up and they're disciplining. Discipline may look different than what you would do. And so being
Yes.
able to respect that and step back and say, okay, I trust that you're going to do the right thing by my child and by me, and just allowing it, that takes a lot as a mom.
Yes.
I know it
Yes.
does. We'd be like, wait, you don't think he was too hard on him? But just like
Right.
you said,
Right.
it's from a man's perspective, and especially
Right.
to a son.
And it's still all healthy, they're not being abused, they're not being mistreated. It might not be what they want because they're children, but then even if it is too harsh for you as the mother, it's still being able to have that relationship with your spouse, to on the side, not in front of the children,
Right.
to say, hey, I know what your intentions were. Just make sure that when you follow up with this whole thing, that you let them know it was coming from this place. It was coming from a place of love. And if I felt like it was a little too harsh, then I'm sure that they probably felt the same way. So the conversation we having
Right.
now, tell them so that it's been a couple of conversations me and my husband had to have on his end and my end as well.
I know sometimes that can be tough for us, especially when you're a mom who was single and you were doing it by yourself for a while, because that was my standpoint. And you have someone who comes in and is trying to help you. And
Mm-hmm.
it can be tough because you're used to doing things a certain way.
Right.
And when they come in with their point of view, it can sometimes be like, well, I've been
Yeah.
doing it like this for so long. Let's
Yeah.
just keep right. But they're like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to create some discipline and some boundaries. And it takes some time to adjust to it. But just like you said, we all kind of we get there.
Right. And as women, we always want our men to protect us, right? And it's cute when they're protecting us from someone out there in the world, but it's hard for us to see them protecting us from our own children because our children can be a bit what's the words that I'm looking for? They have their stuff with them too. So I now look at it differently because I was able to shift my mindset. And when I see them talk back, or when my sons are, their tone is wrong, and my husband straight up, like, "Look, that's my wife. Who you talk to like that?" You know,
Mm-hmm.
before I used to be like, hold on, hold on, hold on. But now I'm like, that's he protects me,
Mm-hmm.
and they need to know that their mother have someone who is here to protect them and not allow anybody, not even you, my sons, to talk to me in any kind of tone or way. So
Right.
it takes time.
It does. And it teaches them too. Like, I'm not talking to my wife like that. I'm not letting you talk to my wife like that. And you make sure that you don't talk to yours when you get one like that.
Exactly. This is all a
Mm-hmm.
learning process for them. I said to my husband the other day, I said, not only do Marlo and Makai get to see you father your bio children, but if for any reason they become stepfathers, they see that dynamic as well. They get to experience that as well. And I'm just like, I'm so grateful because they see him with his bio children, and then they see him firsthand with them as his bonus, and it's just like y'all seeing both dynamics. It don't change. It's still the
Right.
same. You're As long as you are leading a family, you have to step up.
Yeah. And it's good that, just like you said, that the children don't feel any dissension. Like, they don't feel that there's a difference. When they're together, it's like, oh, we all get treated the same. So if you getting punished, I'm getting punished too.
Hmm.
Punishment's going
Hmm.
around for everybody, right? It's not
For
like his
everyone.
children get away with things and yours don't. So they see that healthy dynamic, and I love that. Share a little
Hmm.
bit about, like, I guess some healthy things that have been going on. You and I were talking previously just about your vacation that I saw you and the kids have, and I was just like, oh my God, that's so amazing. Just like you said, we see a lot of the bad parts of blended families and how the moms don't get along. The mom and the stepmom doesn't get along,
Hmm.
or how the family just, there's just this chaos, and it's always shown on TV as drama.
Yeah.
What has your experience been, and how have you guys been able to make it healthy and keep it healthy?
I would say, prior to meeting my husband, I was a single mother. I had left the boy's dad probably like a year or two prior to meeting my husband. So I was a single mother. Shoot, I was single when I was with him, but there's another story for a different day. I came in understanding what single mothers go through. So I'm trying to say this without putting anyone business out there. I came in understanding what is needed for a single mother, whether they were in relationships at the time or not. So they weren't married, and when I say they, I'm talking as far as like my husband's kids' mothers. So I understood when I heard conversations coming from them of not so much of lack from my husband, but more so more things that they needed on their end. And I believe coming in with the mindset of understanding them, because first I'm a woman. That first I'm a woman, then I'm a wife, then I'm a mother. So I lead with empathy. I've always been like that, where I understand, I get it, especially if I've been through it and I can relate with you. So I believe moving like that and not taking things so personal. That's a big thing, not taking things personal, even though if my husband, if they're going back and forth, and my husband, and he's mad and pissed off, it's still like a thing where sometimes you got to know when to observe as a wife, and just be there to listen, you know, because you can spark so much more than what the actual problem is. And that was just something I never wanted to do. And I feel like moving like that has caused us to have a successful blended family. We're not friends. Like somebody asked me that the other day, like, y'all must be friends. You and the baby mothers must be friends because y'all dynamic just seems so well. No, I'm a grown woman, and that's the way I lead, and that's how I lead my family. And it plays out the right way. It plays out the right way. So to your question, certain things that we do, one thing that I don't play about when so my mom gets my three bio kids every other weekend. The weekends that which are the weekends that my husband kids don't come to our house. So we have weekends with kids, and then the next weekend we don't have kids. So the weekend with kids, it is priority. It has been priority for over these past couple years that we are doing family things. We can be in the house, we can be on a trip, vacation, what have you. We are having family time. And I honestly believe that had, and the kids look forward to it now. And it's getting a little tricky because now that the kids are getting older and they're in sports, so we're not always together like we used to be. But for the most part, when we have family time, and we create memories, laugh, support each other. It's not up for debate. It's just not.
I like that a lot, a whole lot. Like, I love that you have a free weekend. That's beautiful.
I don't take it for granted. Trust me.
That is beautiful. But like you said, I think I want to say that a huge part of it being a healthy situation is the fact that you were a mom first. But I have seen some situations where there are moms who go into situations with someone who has children and they don't react the same way you did. I love that
Yes.
you walk into it with understanding that I don't know the full story of what happened in this situation, right? And so
Right.
I'm just like you said, or tread very lightly, right? And kind of, so I'll be here to support you, husband, but I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to get in the middle of the mess, right? I'm going to let y'all hash it out. But also the fact that you have an understanding of their side of like what it could feel like, what that might be, and you move in that space. I think that's what's created such a healthy dynamic between you all, because most women don't walk into the situation saying, I was a single mom. I do understand what this is like. It's like, well, he's with me now, and this is what we have going on. And if it, messes up the dynamic of what we got, then it's a problem. I was
Right.
blessed too to have someone who, like you, was a mom. So my son's stepmom I call her my co-mama. She
Oh, that's cool.
she it wasn't that way before. Let's be
I'm sure.
honest.
I'm sure.
At the beginning, it was not, and it was very tumultuous. But our situation was that we were engaged to be married. 3 months before our wedding, I find out he's cheating, and he's cheating with her. So it was a hard situation to be able to co-parent with. So I couldn't even
Yeah.
co-parent with him, let alone think about trying to co-parent with her.
Yes.
It was not happening. So
Oh.
for a long while, there was like this healing that I knew I had to do myself before I could be effective in the situation. So instead of
Mm-hmm.
creating a lot of drama, I kind of would just be like, I'm just not going to say nothing, because if I do, it's going to be big. Right. So my arguments were often always with him. And then when we finally sat down and talked, when she and I finally sat down and talked, it was like a huge healing moment. Like I felt like that was like a healing session,
Mm-hmm.
because she apologized for some stuff, because she was like, I kind of felt like certain things were going on, but I wasn't too sure. And he was telling me one thing, but I'm finding out now that it was something else. And I apologize, because the stance I was coming from was I wanted to support him, but in a way where I was sometimes being his mouthpiece. And I was like,
Yeah.
and I apologize, because you felt the brunt of a lot of stuff that had nothing to do with you. It was for him, and you kind of, what do they say? You got hit with things that weren't for you, really.
Yeah. Innocent
And so,
bystander.
yeah, you were innocent in it. And so once we apologized to each other and had that conversation, she often was the person on the other side advocating for stuff for my son. So if it was me saying, this is what needs to happen this weekend or next week or whatever, and he would be like, oh no, I can't, she would be like, it's going to happen. Don't worry. We're going to put it in our little calendar.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, why not make the person that is in the situation with you? You guys are co-parenting together. Why not make that person your ally instead of your, adversary, like
Exactly.
someone you don't want to get along with? I'm not trying to do that. You got
Exactly.
to have my son with you all the time. I want to know that he's
Right.
going to be taken care of. So,
Exactly. Exactly. Because it's out of your control once he leave your house. It's really nothing you can do, So that, I mean, and I commend you for
thank
being
you.
open and not allowing, that resentment to take over the whole dynamic, because I've seen women do that as well, where they lead with resentment and then it's just an explosion. It doesn't relieve anything,
Right.
So yeah, healing, I think that's 90% of a blended family issue. uh Healing, getting through, getting past what was, and understanding that it's not that anymore. And I believe it's a hard pill to swallow when you create kids with someone and you expect your life to look a certain way. And when that doesn't happen, it's hard. It's a hard pill to swallow. And I
Hmm.
get it. I get it.
Yeah, it is. It is a hard pill to swallow. But just like you said, like, I feel like in the situations, I knew that I didn't want my son to have a bad experience.
Right.
So I didn't want him to see us arguing all the time. I didn't want him to feel a way about going to his dad, because you have sons. You know how boys are with their mom. Like, if I
Hmm.
feel, he sees me feeling, he's going to feel. And so
Oh
I
yeah.
never wanted him to go over to his dad's house and not be happy or have fun. I was like, no, go have fun. When he came back, I never wanted him to not feel like he couldn't share. Like, he
Hmm.
had a fun weekend, but now if I go home and tell mom, she gonna be, I was
Yeah.
like,
And
did you
that's
have
such
fun?
a hard position. Yeah.
Yeah, but
That's a hard
as a
position.
mom,
Yeah.
like, it can be tough. But I was just like, listen, take it on the chin. It's for the baby. It's not about you.
Right. 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 That's amazing. That's amazing. And I just always say, like, it could be drama. It doesn't have to be, like, you really have the choice to pick and choose exactly how you want to live this thing out. And I don't like drama.
I only like to
But
watch it on TV.
right, right. Not in my life. Not in my life.
Mm-mm.
How long you been married?
I've been married now for 15 years.
Ooh.
So me and you were talking previously about how oftentimes single moms feel like when we have kids, nobody want like the dating pool is closed. It's going to be small. I'm not
Mm,
going to find nobody. I literally was not looking for anybody when I found my husband. Like I was just
right.
like, I'm healing. I'm fine. If I meet someone, okay. If I don't, I'm also okay. I think I have found that space in my life, that little sweet spot where I was single, but
Yes.
I was comfortable. Right.
Yes,
And here he
girl.
came
Yes.
out of nowhere.
Yes. That sounds like when I say I was having my hot girl summer. I wasn't looking. I
Listen.
wasn't seeking. I wasn't doing none of that. Then here he come. But I'm glad he
Mm-hmm.
did. I'm glad he did because I wasn't on the right path. I wasn't. But
How long have you been married now?
um 8 years. June was 8 years. Yep. eight
Okay.
years together. And we've been together 8 years married. We've been together since 2014. So yeah, it's been a while. Time
Yeah.
fly when you're having fun.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
It's
Thank
possible,
you.
ladies. We are two
It's
moms who were single with kids. And look
yes.
at where we are now.
Yes. Seriously, happily married. And
Mm-hmm.
could actually, you know how you used to be with a guy that just wasn't right for you, would just lie about being happy, you would make up things that he would do knowing he ain't do it. It feels so good to actually be married to someone who really treats you in a way. And although women don't like to hear it, but in a way where you can really just live a soft life and you feel loved. You feel
Mm-hmm.
loved. It is that's how it's supposed to be.
Yes. You are not supposed to have to fight.
No, no, at all.
Beautiful. So, what's one tip that you would share with anybody that's on this blended family journey? So, it can go to the moms specifically, or it can go to a bonus mom because you have the luxury of being both a bio mom and a bonus mom. So, you
Yeah.
can give a tip to either one of them, or both of them, or a family as a whole, whatever you want. Share a tip.
Okay. I would say lead with understanding, lead with peace, lead with lots of love. Don't take things so personal, and you don't have the control over everything or everyone. And once you get those things aligned, you have those things aligned, I truly believe you will have a successful blended family. Seriously.
Yes. Yes, I think when you lead in the way that you just said with love and understanding, it's like how can you mess it up? How can you mix it up when you're leading from a space of love?
Right. Right. Because those negative thoughts, they're going to be there. But if you're leading with peace, you're leading with love, it gives you the ability to understand and step back
Hmm.
and evaluate. And it's just, if you're just constantly leading with a negative mindset, you will never be able to blend your family. It just will be a toxic blended family. And who wants that? I don't think
Right,
nobody
because
wants that.
no.
Nobody wants
It
that.
feels
But
like
it
sometimes when
happens.
I see it, I'm like on TV, I'm like, do y'all want the peace or do y'all like the drama? Because I'm starting to feel like some of you really like
Love
this
drama.
drama.
Yeah. And people do. Typically, people do. This world we live in, people really feed off of the drama. And it's just like another thing, like silence is power in silence. People take silence for weakness. And it's not. We get married and women, people hate to agree, but as women, we can do a lot of this, right? We can do a lot of it. We can do a lot of it. But it takes sometimes for us to smarten up to think, sit back, especially wives, sit back and understand that it's power in silence. You can move some mountains with silence,
Yes.
you know?
Changes
So,
can be made with silence.
yes, it can. Yes, it can. And it does not make you weak. It does not mean you're allowing people to manipulate you, to gaslight you, to do anything other than what you choose. But know when to be silent. If you master that, you will master blending your family.
Yeah. I definitely agree. And I think that your tip is universal because it can be for the moms, the bonus moms, the dad, stepdad,
Wives,
children. Like,
anybody. Yeah.
yeah, it's for everybody. But
Hmm.
also like the silence piece and the like the taking a moment to just stop. Um, I always I use the phrase, you do not have to attend every argument you're invited to, right? But it's just the same thing. Whenever, just because something's being said to you does not mean you have to respond. And if you do respond, it doesn't mean you have to respond right away. Like there are often times, especially in marriage, I'll say to my husband, give me a second to respond to that because I want to be able to respond
And
without
be
sarcasm
intentional.
because I
Yeah.
can get
And
there.
be,
So I'm like, I want to respond the right
right.
way
Right.
before
You
we
want to
end
be
up in an argument.
intentional. That's
Yeah,
being intentional. Responding quickly. I've learned over the years, especially the way that the conversation is going, what it how does this serve me? How does it serve me? You know? And what where am I trying to what am I trying to achieve with at the end of this
Mm-hmm.
conversation? So if I'm trying to achieve getting my point across, I can't come in with a smoking gun. I can't.
Amen.
I'm we're never going to get to that dialogue of this is what I need and this is what you need if we're automatically coming in like this, firing off.
That's right.
So again, that's what I mean by um silence and standing on 10. I'm not saying be allow people to walk all over you. And like I said, on social media, it's like you gotta like explain yourself. Not we're not saying let anybody walk all over you. It's a
Right.
difference. It's a difference.
It
But
is.
yeah.
You knowing when to respond and then what to respond. And the most important part about what you said is in the end, what do I want to get out of this? Like what
Mhm.
do I want the end result to be? And if you know there's an intention at the end of it, then you have to move in an appropriate way so that you get what you're
Exactly.
trying to get at the end.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Well, it was such a pleasure talking to you. I'm sure me and you could
Same.
talk for hours. Like
Yes.
we could go on
Same.
and on and on.
Yes,
But
it's like a comfort in the conversation where it's like it's
yeah.
over that fast.
Mm-hmm.
We got to do it again. We have to do it again.
Yes. Yes. This next time we'll go on IG Live and just talk.
Okay,
Let's
I'm
just
with you. I can yap. Trust
talk.
me, I can yap about things that I'm passionate about.
That's right. So share with the people where they can find you on social media.
Okay, so you can find me on IG at Hair Addict 6. And you can also find me on TikTok at Hair Addict 6, or you can just type in Tasha J.
Okay. All right,
Yeah.
people, you know where to find her. Don't worry if you didn't get it. It will be in the show notes. But before we go, as I usually do with all of my guests, we're going to pray for Natasha and her family and for the listeners, and then we're going to close out. So, Father God, thank you so much for this divine connection. I always feel that there is no accident when I encounter people. I know that you sent them to me or me to them. And I just say thank you in this moment for connecting the two of us. I'm sure that this is going to be um, a connection that doesn't stop right here at the end of this call. And so I'm grateful for that. I want to thank you just for the space that we're in right now, for having this conversation about blended families, and it being a positive conversation. It's not, us speaking negatively about anyone, and us just wanting to continue to help people learn and grow and get better in their families, not for themselves, but for their kids. These kids need healthy parents so that we can teach them the right way to go. And they need to see that in our examples. And we want to set the best examples for them. So I just thank you for this conversation and us being able to spread that to other people out there who's listening. I want to pray for Tasha's family, that they continue to be blessed, to continue to love on each other, continue to show that understanding that they all need. I continue to pour into Tasha so that she is continuing to be that vessel of like understanding, just being that mom who's open to say, I know what this feels like. I've been there before, and her understanding is what's opening the door. I just pray that there are some listeners who may not have been so open to be in that open door. I hope that Tasha's story helps them to say, you know what, let me step back. This is going to be a good thing for my family. Let me try this out. Let me try out what Tasha's doing in her family. Let me try out what Jamie's done in her family. So I just ask that this conversation has blessed someone. I continue to pray for Tasha's family, that they continue to blossom, and that their light continues to shine and show others that all of this is possible. Also, Tasha's love story of going from the situation that she was in previously to finding love as a single mom with kids is possible. We're living proof that it's possible. So I just ask that you cover her family, bless her family, continue to keep them in your care. I ask that you bless the listeners, cover the listeners, and I ask all of this in your son's name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much again.
Thank you
you all
me.
for listening to the CoCo Blend Podcast. We will see you guys next time. Thank you for listening to the CoCo Blend Podcast. See you next time.